Willie D Live.
You were never bitter?
Absolutely. I was bitter, I would say, from probably 10 to maybe 12. And my mom did such a good job. My mom was a hustler. Like, you couldn't tell us that we didn't have everything we needed, and definitely grew up, more on the poor side, not, you know, well off or wealthy like, my dad is. So, um, it bothered me that everybody had all the fancy things, and our dad is a superstar, multi-millionaire, just absent. And also didn't want to hold a grudge against my mom, because I questioned her, like, Mom, what, you know where's your baby daddy at? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And but they have two kids, so to me it should be like, let me see where this man is so I can make sure my kids is good, but I understand they were dealing with whatever their relationship was going through. Because, my mom was a firecracker once upon a time, and then she went a completely and total, like, religious route. So that kind of separated them. And for a while, I feel like she was running from him in his attempts to try to find us. So, yeah, it's a lot of backstory. And then you get two sides. You get your moms, you get your dads, and you try to, and it's just like, oh my God, I don't even know.
Yeah.
You wind up stuck in the middle, and you just have to come to terms with what the reality actually is, and just kind of live your life moving forward. So when he did present himself at the age of 13, I had let the bitterness go with my mom and him by then, and was just like, I'm a Cancer, so I'm very loving and nurturing, and I want everybody happy and to get along. And of course, that's not the reality all the time, but that's what I hope and pray for.
Yeah. Did that your relationship with your dad, as far as the part of it that was not right, have any effect on your relationships, your romantic relationships with other men?
Hmm. Ooh, Willie, I'm gonna have to come out my coat for this. You're touching a nerve over here. um, I like to think not. I don't think my personal relationships were affected by his, but I will say that I kind of look for my dad in the men that I date, but not the bad side. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the genius, I want to see the style, I want to see the heart, the compassion, because, my
Now, why you
dad,
put that kind of pressure on a man? You ain't gonna get that kind of genius out no other man.
listen, you better step it up. You step that game up. So, yeah, I kind of look at myself as like a hopeful romantic, not a hopeless romantic.
Right, right. That makes a lot of sense. I see that. You mentioned that you was a Cancer. Eh, A Cancer reminds
Mm-hmm.
me of the song Moonchild that
Mm-hmm.
your daddy wrote. That song could be about you if he hadn't said, I'm your man forever, or something he said along the lines of. And I don't know if he tried to just throw that in there to make it more universal where it could work for lovers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was listening to that song, I was like, I wonder is he's talking about Ty? Is that song about you?
So you picking that up is very perceptive. Um, my dad had all Cancer women around him. So Tanya, who is my youngest brother's mom, and then my dad's caretaker, Linda Hunt, who was with him for over 40 years, who actually found him when he passed away. The three of us are all Cancers.
Mm.
So when that song was created, we're all taking dibs, but I think
Right.
it was a combination of the three of us. Yeah.
Rick James, boy, that Rick James is something else. Rick James had to be one of the most unconquerable, um, incomparable, dynamic, multifaceted, talented dude to ever walk the planet. The man did R&B, did disco, he did rock. He could do country western if he wanted to. He was really talented, and he helped a lot of people. He put a lot of people on.
Absolutely.
See, a lot of times you get an artist that's that talented and they keep everything for themselves. They don't want anybody else to shine. But Rick didn't have any problem working with other people. And he also worked with his heroes in the game, Smokey Robinson,
Mhm.
Marvin Gaye.
Mhm.
He, I read somewhere that he befriended Eddie Kendricks.
Right.
Was it Eddie Kendricks? Not Eddie Kendricks, but the guy, the other guy from Temptations. Eddie, it's Eddie something.
I know I'm drawing a blank too,
Yeah,
but I know
yeah.
you're talking about the
I'll
Temptations.
come back to it.
Okay.
But anyway, Rick James was that dude. I saw Rick play in Houston once at an arena, and he came out on stage. It was a spotlight, and he finally just walked out on stage, and he stood in the center of the stage, looked around at everybody for a bit, like, yeah, looked around, and I'm talking about it must have been, the intro must have lasted at least 10 minutes. 'Cause he's just watching, just looking at everybody, and he lit a cigarette.
You sure it was a cigarette?
It could be, I don't know
Come on
I
now,
don't know what it
Willie.
was. Well, he smoked it like this. Well, he smoked it like this.
Mhm.
And he smoked on he drew a few puffs of the cigarette, and he flipped it, and he just went into his act. I can't remember the song, but he went into the act, and I was like, ooh, because I'm a performer. I'm not just a rapper. I know how to get on that stage and work it. And when
Okay.
I saw him do that,
Yes.
just something so subtle, but it was so impactful. He was a consummate performer. Um,
Absolutely.
have you ever been involved in the arts at all?
I feel like I embody a lot of everything in entertainment, honestly, from music to fashion. I'm super passionate about it. I definitely have. I had a little, rap career, a little short rap
Yeah.
career.
You did you do some acting? Did you ever do some
Not
acting?
really.
Okay.
No, that's the only thing I didn't
Okay.
do. Um, but I think, I had to make a decision between that, a music career, and I was pregnant at a really young age, and it was more important for me to be an amazing mother and parent, and I know what this this career takes to
Yeah.
succeed. Like, it takes all of you. It takes more than you. It takes oh man, 1,000%, not 100. So yeah.
For those young girls out there who may not know what to do, who might
Mhm.
be in the same position that you were once in
Mhm.
as a single mother, and they're confused, they're lost, they don't know how to get out of the jam that they're in. You know, what kind of advice would you give them?
As far as
Yeah,
pursuing,
as far as like how you got yourself together, like I'm sure it started mentally. You said to yourself, "This is what I got. I got a child to raise. I got a major responsibility here." And at some point, you crafted a plan. I'm sure that you didn't get to where you are by happenstance. I'm sure it was by design. Like,
right.
what was going through your mind, and what made you pull yourself up by the bootstraps?
So what made me understand that shit got real at when you're pregnant at 18, and I'm the type of person that, I don't really like to ask people for things, even though, my dad is well in my life by then. I still felt like it was my decision as a woman, to have a child. And I'm sorry, believe it or not, at 18, you're grown as a woman. So
Mm.
um, I've always been a really hard worker. I would say just your work ethic is what's going to really pull you, up out of any contemplation of, I can't do this. No, you got to focus, you got to lock in, and, it's all mental. It's mental. And don't be distracted um, by doubt,
Mm.
because that is one of the things that, it can attack you at any time.
Yeah.
Doubt comes out of nowhere, and it's nothing but the devil saying you can't do it, or you're not strong enough, or those things. You have to overcome that and be the stronger, greater force.